एक चुड़ैल थी, पेड़ों पे रहती थी। उल्टे पैर थे उसके, खून की प्यासी थी।
In colonial Bengal, in the year 1881, a wide-eyed young girl named Bulbbul, barely 5 years old, is married off to Indranil, a wealthy and much older man from an aristocratic family. The ceremony is grand and steeped in tradition. Soon she's taken to his sprawling mansion, an imposing and isolated structure that looms over the landscape. The mansion, though grand, feels more like a prison. On the way, Bulbbul quickly forms a bond with Satya, Indranil's younger brother, who is much closer to her age. The two develop a deep friendship, filled with innocence and a shared sense of curiosity for witch stories. Bulbbul initially believed she had married Satya, but upon arriving at the mansion, she realized that it was actually Indranil she had wed. Together, Bulbbul and Satya explore the mansion, share stories, and spend countless hours in each other's company. However, their closeness does not go unnoticed. Indranil begins to grow suspicious, his jealousy simmering as he watches Bulbbul and Satya's relationship blossom. Meanwhile, the mansion is home to more complex dynamics. Mahendra, Indranil's twin brother, resides there with his wife, Binodni. Mahendra, suffering from a mental disability, is largely dependent on others, which frustrates Binodni, who finds herself trapped in an unfulfilling marriage. Resentful of her situation, she becomes envious of Bulbbul's youth and the attention she garners from the men in the household. Over time, Binodni develops a bitter rivalry with Bulbbul, fueled by jealousy and social dynamics within the household. As the years go by, the bond between Bulbbul and Satya deepens. Satya, still young and somewhat naive, continues to see Bulbbul as his constant companion and trusted playmate. Their friendship, for him, is uncomplicated, filled with shared laughter and the comfort of familiar company. However, for Bulbbul, her feelings begin to evolve. As she matures, she starts to recognize a deeper affection growing within her for Satya. Indranil becomes increasingly distant and cold, but also possessive. The tipping point comes when Indranil, fueled by jealousy and suspicion of a budding romance between Satya and Bulbbul, sends Satya away to London to study law under the guise of securing his future, effectively separating the two. This separation devastates Bulbbul, leaving her even more isolated. After Satya leaves, Indranil confronts Bulbbul about her supposed relationship with his brother. In a horrifying scene, he brutally beats Bulbbul with a metal rod, focusing his blows on her legs, breaking them, and leaving her helpless. She's left physically broken and emotionally devastated. This event marks the beginning of Bulbbul's transformation. She is confined to her room, recovering from her injuries. During this time, Mahendra, Indranil's mentally unstable twin brother, visits her and takes advantage of her vulnerable state. Mahendra assaults Bulbbul, adding another layer of trauma to her already broken life. Binodni, who had been quietly scheming in the background, takes advantage of this situation, taking care of Bulbbul, but also keeping her under control. As these personal horrors unfold, a mysterious rumor begins to circulate in the village near the mansion. Men are being found dead, their bodies mutilated, and the villagers claim it is the work of a chudale, a witch with backward feet, from local folklore. Chudale is said to prey on men, and this superstition spreads fear throughout the community. Meanwhile, Mahendra is killed in what is believed to be an attack by a chudale. His widow, Binodni, now resides in an outhouse. Indranil leaves the mansion after this, disappearing without a word, leaving Bulbbul to her fate. After several years, Satya returns from London, now a grown man. He is determined to find out what has happened in his absence, both in the village and in the mansion. He is reunited with Bulbbul, but things have changed drastically. Bulbbul has undergone a significant transformation. She's no longer the innocent girl he once knew. She is confident, poised, and mysterious, now the head of the household in the absence of Indranil and Mahendra. Satya begins investigating the mysterious deaths in the village, determined to uncover the truth. He is skeptical of the villagers' tales about the chudale and suspects a more human cause behind the murders.
किसी को देखा? कुछ सुना?
नहीं।
When another man is found dead, Satya begins to suspect Sudeep, the village doctor who makes regular visits to examine Bulbbul's feet after an incident she remains silent about. As Satya delves deeper into the mystery, he begins to notice strange things about Bulbbul. She has become far more powerful and self-assured than before, almost as if she harbors a dark secret. Satya eventually learns the truth about what happened to Bulbbul in his absence: the violent abuse by Indranil, the sexual assault by Mahendra, and how Binodni manipulated the situation to her advantage. The most shocking revelation comes one evening when Satya accidentally sets the forest on fire and uncovers the true identity of the Chudale. It is Bulbbul. Bulbbul, after suffering immense abuse and betrayal, had risen from the ashes of her former self, both figuratively and literally. She had become a supernatural entity, a powerful avenger of wronged women. The backward feet of the Chudale, a key part of the myth, symbolized her complete transformation. She killed men who had harmed women, seeking justice and vengeance in a way that no one else in her society could. Heartbroken and confused, Satya is forced to confront the reality that the woman he once loved had become something far beyond human. He cries out in pain as Bulbbul retreats to the safety of a tree, slowly being consumed by the surrounding flames. A year later, Indranil returns to his now empty estate. Satya has already left, burdened with guilt over what happened to Bulbbul and fearing he was slowly becoming like his brothers. That night, Indranil is startled awake by Bulbbul, who gives him a sinister smile, suggesting that she intends to kill him in revenge. Bulbbul is a feminist tale, using the supernatural genre to explore the brutal reality of women's oppression in a patriarchal society. Bulbbul's transformation into the Chudale isn't just about becoming a monster. It's about reclaiming power in a world that systematically silenced and harmed her. The film uses the myth of the Chudale, a figure traditionally seen as evil, to subvert the idea of women as victims. Traditionally, a Chudale is a vengeful spirit of a wronged woman, often used as a cautionary tale. The movie flips this trope. Bulbbul, as the Chudale, isn't a mere villain, but rather a misunderstood figure demanding justice. Her backward feet signify her deviation from societal norms and expectations. They reflect her departure from her role as a submissive woman into something powerful and uncontrollable. Bulbbul's legs being broken by Indranil is a symbolic act. In many ways, this moment represents the breaking of a woman's spirit and independence by the patriarchy. But the horror lies not just in the physical violence, it's in how this violence is normalized. Yet instead of being crushed by these events, Bulbbul transforms into something more powerful. The red hue used throughout the movie is a significant visual motif. Red represents multiple things: violence, blood, passion, and ultimately power. The way red dominates the screen in pivotal scenes signals Bulbbul's rage and her transformation. The movie continuously asks the question: who is the real monster? Is it the supernatural Chudale, or is it the men in Bulbbul's life? The men in the story see Bulbbul as either a possession or a threat. Indranil's cruelty and Mahendra's violation represent the worst of patriarchal violence, while Satya's well-meaning but ultimately passive role shows how even men who love women can uphold the same damaging systems. Satya and Bulbbul's relationship is one of the movie's most tragic aspects. What begins as a pure friendship evolves into something more complex as they grow older. Satya's failure to understand Bulbbul's suffering leads to the ultimate breakdown of their relationship. And that's it for today's video. What do you think of this movie and its plot? Do share your thoughts. And hey, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And make sure to click on the bell notification icon so you never miss any of my future videos. See you in my next video. Until then, stay curious, stay cautious, and sweet nightmares.